Rocks reporting from down under. I've done a couple of videos about Oroville Dam and the problems, the engineering problems with it, and the risks for possible dam failure in the future, and also about present conditions where the lake levels are extremely high. Now I found another piece of the puzzle that's been talked about by almost nobody. In fact, there's one vlogger who's commenting on this. And so obviously you can see from this that the dam is probably at a higher altitude than Oroville is. So as an outsider living 6,000 miles away, I had to check for myself the where it is. So it's very, very high up in California. This is San Francisco here. This is the capital, Sacramento, the Central Valley, Chico, and somewhere here close to Chico, I can't quite see on this scale, is Oroville. And then if you go up here, this here is Lake Almanor. So that gives a sort of perspective of where it is. It gives me some understanding of what we're looking at and the terrain. So it's very, very close to the, well, to the mountains where there's a lot of snowpack at the moment, and the lake levels are very high. So this is going in to close up of the lake. There's a lot of recreational water sports type things used for, but right down the bottom here is Canyon Dam. Now I believe that that Lake Almanor and the dam, the lake actually works to sort of hold the water, and there are no. It's on the Feather River, so you've got Lake Almanor up here, and then you've got Oroville, and so you've got the river down here. So there are no dams between here and here, so there's nothing really holding the water back. So I'll just let this extract from this video that I picked up yesterday, and that will explain things a little bit better.
Hey folks, welcome to a short video from A Plain Truth here. I'm breaking down the last video I did because there's some very important information that needs to be vetted independently. So this is going to be a chapter of the big piece I just did about the Oroville Dam. So Lake Almanor is right here to give you some idea. We got Lake Tahoe, Pyramid Lake up here, Lake Shasta. Here's the Oroville Dam down here, and here's Lake Tahoe down here. So Lake Tahoe, Pyramid Lake, Lake Almanor, which flows directly down into Oroville, and then there's Lake Shasta, Chico, and Paradise, so you get an idea. So I'm getting this piece is about Lake Almanor, which is holding the water that floods directly down to the Oroville Dam. And you can't get any information on this because PG&E owns it. Now, they said that the federal government owns 65% of it and PG&E owns the rest. And so you'll see in my report here that I reported from last time that I'm duplicating, that I said that they weren't reporting it. Well, that's because the Department of California Water is not involved with Pyramid Lake. So it's PG&E that's reporting the information. So this is from last year when the dams, or 2 years ago with the first dam break. Oroville Dam, completed in '68, is 770 feet. It's the tallest dam in the U.S. PG&E owner of Lake Almanor. All right, here, there's really very little actual storage capacity beyond Lake Almanor and Butt Lake. The other dams we have along the North Fork of the Feather River are small diversion dams that are also currently full because of the wet weather we've had for the winter season. Lake Almanor, the major upstream reservoir in the Feather River system, is itself near full capacity. An increase of outflow means warm water will flow downstream towards the Oroville Dam, and we've been saying now for days it's stuck at this 888 feet. Why isn't it spilling over? They can't open the doors to release it, so why isn't the lake? Well, this is where they're holding it seems, up at Lake Almanor. And again, the snowpack up there is 188% of normal, and they just got another 2 feet of snow in the middle of May. Are you kidding me? So if you go to the 633 about Mark 633, you'll skip the part that you may have already seen if you watched the previous video I just released, the much longer version, okay? So just go to 633. All right, so what I wanted to show you here was the largest reservoirs in California. And Shasta we talked about, and Oroville down here as far as water acre of feet. But I always thought it was Lake Shasta, but Lake Almanor. Lake Almanor is the largest, opened in 1927. It was the first dam built. This is up in the Sierras up by Tahoe, above Lake Tahoe. Truckee, acre of feet 1.3 million. You see Oroville is 3.5 million. Well, Almanor is the feeder lake that goes down into the Oroville Dam. So take a look at this map here, folks. And you can see right here that this dam starts, Lake Almanor is way up here. Okay, here's Lake Tahoe to give you reference. Chico's right here. Here's Paradise. Butte County is where we're in. Here's Lake Oroville, where all the concern is about the dam right here. Here's the 2 dots represent the dam, but the major feeder, okay, is the North Fork going into Lake Oroville. There's also the Middle Fork coming over here. All right, and this is the Shasta Reservoir coming in here. So let's read about a little bit more about Lake Almanor, which nobody's talking about. 78 miles of the Middle Fork of the Feather River above Oroville Reservoir is listed as National Wildlife and Scenic Reserve. It also has an 111-mile dam-free river, dam-free from the sources of the headwater to Oroville Reservoir. So there's no dams holding it back once the waters get released from Lake Almanor. So a 3,200 square mile watershed is comprised of 65% public land managed by the U.S. Forest Service. All right, so we look in here about Lake Almanor, Wikipedia, that font of all knowledge. It's the largest reservoir in northwestern Plumas County. The reservoir has a capacity of 1.3 million acre feet, a maximum depth of 90. It's Hamilton Beach, various other natural wet springs. The dam is 130 feet tall, hydrologically filled, and it says the dam is now owned. Now, before it said it was 65% owned by the federal government. Now it's saying now owned by Pacific Gas and Electric, uses it for hydroelectricity production, but it's also fun for fishing and gaming and all that. So I go under this map here of the Department of Water Resources, and I search for results of Lake Almanor. Make sure I got the spelling right, Lake Almanor, and I hit search, and I get no results found for the content of Lake Almanor. We can't find if it's overflowing or not, because when that thing overflows, it's going to hit Oroville Dam, and so maybe they're over capacity up in Lake Almanor, and people up there are reporting the water is extremely high, just like it is down around here around Clear Lake, just like it is about Mendocino. They're all tapped out here, folks, so there's no room for any extra water, and Lake Almanor seems to be the key about this all. And no one's focusing on this except for really great researchers like Christine and a couple other people that have mentioned this early on. So we're just putting this together. All right. So
well, thank you to A Plain Truth for bringing that to our attention. And I think the essence of what he was saying is captured in this screenshot. He went searching for information on lake levels, and this is what he found: a big fat nothing. So Margo provided this for me yesterday. So these are the lake levels, and I'll provide a link to this in the description box below. So this is all the lake levels in April and May. And then we go on down right up to the 12th of May. And then suddenly, since the 12th of May, there's nothing. There's no data. So that's a little bit strange. I mean, well, there's always a credible, well, sometimes a credible reason for that, but I think given uh, that what we're seeing about a cover up at Oroville, this is hardly surprising. So I'm just providing this information. I'm not making any conclusions. I'm leaving that totally up to you. Um, and the only other thing that I want to share with you on this is a video that Margo made yesterday, and she identified clusters of earthquakes around Oroville and its environs, and she talks about it. I don't have the geological skills to say one way or another about what the effects of all this water and flooding could be on tectonic plates. I've got no idea whatsoever. So again, I'm just leave that up to Margo to tell you the story.
Well, this is interesting as we come down into California. This is Lake Almanor, and we've been talking about the dams and the reservoirs and stuff in California. We've been talking about the Oroville Dam and the reservoir, and a lot of attention has been focused here in the last month or so. And by the way, the lake is rising now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time reporting on it. The lake level is right now, as of 7 o'clock, was at 891.16. So I've left all the links below if people want to track it for yourselves. But there's so much drama around this. I'm not going to get into speculations and all the drama. And I've done the reports that I can with the information that we have, and everything else is speculation. So I'm not going to do that. And there's Oroville there. And then Lake Almanor, they have a dam here. And this is on the North Fork of the Feather River Dam. And when they let the water go from here, it feeds down into Lake Oroville. But PG&E put out a report earlier this week that they are not going to be releasing water from Lake Almanor or Bucks Lake, that they are going to be running the lake levels high this summer because of high precipitation this year. So you can think what you want from that, but the dam here at Lake Almanor, it was first built in 1926, and then it was refurbished in, I think it was 1968 or something like that. So it's old too. And so that, I'm sure that lake level is rising as well. And as these lake levels rise, water is heavy. And this is a geologically active area. All of Northern California, basically all of California, a lot of Nevada is geologically active because of the way, with all the faults and everything. And so when you have all that water stacking up and not going anywhere, and the plates are used to a certain amount, and then it starts piling up, then it puts more weight on the plates, and I would expect to see earthquakes. I would. And we have 6 here today near Lake Almanor, and this one is right next to the road. Now the dam for Lake Almanor is down here. It's called Canyon Dam. And I think it's like 130 feet high or something like that. But this earthquake was a 1.6 right here next to where it's piling up all the water. And this came in this afternoon at 1:47 p.m. And then, but before all of that, we had 5, and these are about 18 miles from the lake. And this, oh, by the way, this is a man-made lake. When they first dammed it up, it was a meadow before, but they dammed it up. 1926. Well, the first dam was a few years before that, but then they actually built a more solid one in 1926. That was the beginning of the dam system in California and trying to control the water throughout the state. So it's going to backfire on them. It's going to backfire because you can't mess around with Mother Nature for all these years and it not backfire. And they're about to see some backfiring coming, I'm afraid.
On a different but related note, there's something happening in Oklahoma. Webbers Falls urges residents to evacuate as loose barge heads for dam. So isn't that sort of amazing, you know, just all in one day. So I gather what has happened is that these barges have got loose and they're heading or have headed towards this dam. So the town of Webbers Falls is telling its residents to evacuate immediately as of Wednesday night because of loose barges along the Arkansas River headed for a dam. This is the message that they sent to Facebook as of 8:49 p.m. last night. Evacuate Webbers Fall immediately. The barges are loose and has the potential to hit the lock and dam 16. If the dam breaks, it'll be catastrophic. Leave now. So that was last night. I've got absolutely no idea kind of what the situation is now, but that's just a little bit of a heads up on that one.